Hello friends, welcome you all to another video and today we are going to start with the unit number 3 novel The Old Man and the Sea, which was written by Ernest Hemingway. And as you know that we have completed the characters, and then in the previous lecture we have completed the summary of day 3, and today we are going to start with the summary of day 4. So the marlin wakes Santiago by jerking the line. The fish jumps out of the water again and again, and Santiago is thrown into the bow of the skiff. Face down in his dolphin mate, the line feeds out fast, and the old man breaks against it with his back and hands. His left hand, especially, is badly cut. Santiago wishes that the boy were with him to wear the coils of the line, which would lessen the friction. The old man wipes the crushed dolphin meat off his face, facing that fearing that it will make him nostrate and he will lose his strength. Looking at his damaged hand, he reflects that pain does not matter to man. He eats the second flying fish in hopes of building up his strength. As the sun rises, the marlin begins to circle. For hours, the old man fights the circling fish for each inch of line, slowly pulling it in. He feels faint and dizzy, and sees a black spot before the boat. Santiago cannot believe its size. As the marlin continues to circle, Santiago adds that the fish is killing him and admires him for it, saying, I do not care who kills who. Eventually, he pulled the fish onto its side by the boat and flung his harpoon on it into it. The fish lurches out of the water, brilliantly and beautifully alive as it dies. When it falls back into the water, its blood stains the waves. The old man pulled the skiff up alongside the fish and fastened the fish to the side of the boat. He thinks about how much money he will be able to make from such a big fish, and he imagined that Di Maggio would be proud of him. Santiago's hands are so cut up that they resemble raw meat. With the mast up and the sail down, man, fish, and boat head for land. In his light-headed state, the old man finds himself wondering for a moment if he is bringing the fish in or vice versa. He shakes some streams from a patch of giltwood and eats them raw. He watches the marlin carefully as the ship sails on. The old man's wounds remind him that his battle with the marlin was real and not a dream. An hour later, a mako shark arrives, having smelled the marlin bird. Except for its jaws full of talon-like teeth, the shark is a beautiful fish. When the shark hits the marlin, the old man sinks his harpoon into the shark's head. The shark lashes out the water and eventually sinks, taking the harpoon and the old man's rope with it. The mako has taken nearly 40 pounds of meat, so fresh blood from the marlin spills into the water, inevitably drawing more sharks to attack. Santiago realized that his struggle with the marlin was for nothing. All will be soon lost, but he muses, a man can be destroyed but not defeated. Santiago tries to cheer himself by thinking that Dimago would be pleased by his performance, and he wonders again if his hands equal Dimago's bone spurs as a handicap. He tries to be hopeful, thinking that it is silly, if not sinful, to stop hoping. He reminds himself that he didn't kill the marlin simply for food, that he killed it for pride and love. He wonders if it is sin to kill someone you love, the shark. On the other hand, he does not feel guilty about killing, because he did it in self defense. He decided that everything kills everything else in some way. 2 hours later, a pair of shovel-nosed sharks arise, and Santiago makes noise likened to the sound a man might make as the nails are driven through his hands. The sharks attack, and Santiago fights them with a knife that he had lashed to an oar as to makeshift weapon. He enjoyed killing the mako because it was worthy opponent, a mighty and fearful predator. But he has nothing but disdain for the scavenging shovel-nosed sharks. The old man killed them both, but not before they take a good quarter of marlin, including the best meat. Again, Santiago wishes that he had killed the marlin. He apologizes to the dead marlin for having gone out so far, saying it did neither of them any good. Still hopeful that the whole whatever have been a dream. Santiago cannot bear to look at the mutilated marlin. Another shower nose shark arrives. The old man kills it, but he loses his knife in the process. Just before nightfall, two more sharks approach. The old man arsenal has been reduced to the club he uses to kill bait fish. He managed to curb the shark into the retreat, but not before they repeatedly maul the marlin. Stiff, sore, and weary, he hopes he does not have a fight to anymore. He even dared to imagine making it home with the half fish that remain. Again, he apologized to the marlin carcass and attempts to console it by remaining the fish how many sharks he has killed. He wonders how many sharks the marlin killed when it was alive, and he pledges to fight the shark until he dies. Although he hopes to be lucky, Santiago believes that he violated his luck when he sailed too far out. Around midnight, a pack of sharks arrives, near blind in the darkness. Santiago strikes out to the sound of jaws and fins. Something snatches his club. He breaks off the boat teller and makes a flutter attempt to use it as a weapon. When the last shark tries to tear as though head of the marlin, the old man clubs the shark until the thriller splinters. He plunging the sharp edge into the shark's flesh, and the beast lets go. No meat is left on the marlin. The old man spits blood into the water, which frightened him for a moment. He settled into the steer the boat, numb and past all feeling. He asked himself what it was that defeated him and concluded, nothing, I went out too far. When he reaches the harbor, all lights are out and no one is near. He noticed that the skeleton of the fish still tied to the sculp. He takes down the mast and begins to shoulder it up and hill to his shack. It is terribly heavy, and he is forced to sit down 5 times before he reaches his home. Once there, the old man sleeps. After the arrival of the Mark shark, Santiago seems preoccupied with the notion of hope. Hope is shown to be necessary component of endurance. So here the summary of day 4 also ends, and let's start with the summary of day 5. So early in the next morning, Manolin comes to the old man's shack, and the sight of his friend's ravaged hands bring him to tears. He goes to fetch coffee. Fishermen have gathered around Santiago's boat and measure the carcass at 18 feet. Manolin waits for the old man to wake up, keeping his coffee warm for him so it is ready right away. When the old man wakes, he and Manolin talk warmly. Santiago says that the shark beats him, and Manolin insists that he will work with the old man again regardless of what his parents say. He revealed that there had been a search for Santiago involving the Coast Guard and planes. Santiago is happy to have someone to talk to, and after he and Manuel make up plans, the old man sleeps again. Manuel leaves to find food and the newspaper for the old man, and to tell Patrico that the marlin head is his. The afternoon, two tourists at the terrace cafe mistake the great skeleton for that of shark. Manuel continued to watch over the old man as he sleeps and dreams of the lion. So, guys, here the summary of day 5 also ends, and here our novel also ends. But in tomorrow's lecture, I am going to cover the themes and symbol of this novel. So, thank you for watching, and all the best for your examination.